Welcome to Jesse's Drone Adventures, everyone. Today we are touring one of the most popular scenic drives in the state of Utah. It's one of those drives that gets better the further you go, not knowing what's right around the corner. Not to mention all the little hidden gems that can be found along this road. And for those of you that might not be familiar with this road or the area, let me get you some perspective. Here we have the glorious state of Utah, which became a state in 1896, and Potash Road is on the eastern side of the state. It's a 17-mile long road that winds through the canyon following the Colorado River. It was my first time on this road, and I knew what to expect based off the pictures that I've seen online, but I wasn't ready for the views that I was about to see next. As I've always said, it's one thing to see pictures of a certain place online, but it's another to see them in person. The section of road that we're approaching now is called Wall Street. But hold up, stop, wait, I know what you're thinking. This isn't the typical Wall Street that you're thinking of with cigar toting businessmen in sharp suits yelling at people on the phones, saying things like, you gotta pump those numbers up.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
It's called Wall Street because you can often find people rock climbing these towering sandstone walls, and I was hoping to get some shots of the rock climbers in action, but I started shooting this video just minutes after it stopped raining, and at this point all of the climbers had already come down. I assumed they were going to wait until things dried up a little bit before they started climbing again, which was no problem for me, but since I already had my drone up in the air, I decided to check out some of the canyons and caves up on the rocks. In many of my previous videos, I've explored multiple canyons, caves, and hard to reach places with my drone, in the hopes of making a discovery, whether it be ruins, old buildings, or relics of any kind. And being that there are countless Anasazi ruins in the Four Corners region, I figured it couldn't hurt to take a look. The petroglyphs you see here are literally right off the side of the road, and according to the interpretive sign located just a few steps away, archaeologists believe that most of the rock art here was created during the Archaic and Fremont time periods. Unfortunately, my video camera's focus was not playing ball with me that day, which is why I had to only take pictures, but I think the pictures turned out better than what the video would have showed. The petroglyphs display a wide variety of images, from animals, weapons, abstract objects, and many different symbols and patterns. But whenever I see petroglyphs like this, it always makes me wonder, were they trying to tell a story, leave their mark behind, or was this simply just for fun and maybe it's nothing more than ancient doodling? I'll let you guys decide. Officially known as State Route 279, but locally known as Potash Road, it was constructed between 1962 and 1963 to service the Potash mine further down the road. Its secondary purpose was to be a connecting road for a planned highway to Dead Horse Point State Park on the other side of the canyon, which would have been called Highway 278. However, it was never constructed. Highway 313 was built instead in 1975. Now, if you're like me and you're wondering what potash is, it's actually a chemical extracted from old rocks, and when it's mixed with top secret chemicals, it creates night vision. Just kidding, it's not that interesting. Well, to some, it might be, but according to earthobservatory.nasa.gov, potash is a potassium containing salt which is used widely by farmers in fertilizer. There's a thing you know. Over the last 7 years of living in the Southwest, I've taken countless scenic drives from Mount Carmel Highway near Zion National Park, the Apache Trail, the Salt River Canyon, Oak Creek Canyon, and just recently the Moki Dugway. But I have to say, Potash Road is definitely in my top 5. Now, if this is your first time hearing about Potash Road and you're thinking about making the trip out here to gaze at the wonderful creation Mother Nature has sculpted over millions of years, here's a few pieces of good to know info. Number one, there are dozens of trails out here to go hiking on. I would say it's just a matter of picking one that you find the most interesting. And hold that thought because we'll come back to this a little later in the video, and I will not only recommend, but I will show you a trail that I think you'll find worth hiking. Trust me. Or not, it's your life. Number two, at most of these trailheads, you will find bathrooms. So if nature calls and you gotta paint the town brown or pay the water bill, you will not have to go all the way back into town. Number three, there are multiple campgrounds out here. So if you're looking to immerse yourself in nature and be one with Earth, plenty of places to do that. Although if you're coming out here during the summer, I would plan accordingly because it gets packed. Number four, like most people that come out here for the first time, there's a high probability you're going to want to stop every 5 seconds and take photos of the canyon walls. And you should, they're freaking gorgeous. That being said, there are multiple pullout areas where you can safely pull over and snap your selfies for the gram, Snapchat, Twitter, or whatever the frick they're calling it these days. X, that's it. Just be careful when you do pull over because, like I said, it can get really busy here in the summertime. Semis still use this road, and people can get easily distracted when they're driving out here for the first time. And you do not want to end up like Regina George from Mean Girls.
You can take that fake apology and shove it right up your hairy.
Call me crazy, but she kind of had that coming. Lastly, I will link some trails, campgrounds, and things you must see down in the description below. Every once in a while, it's always important to get out of the car and take everything in. Feels like I'm in an old Western movie out here. The building you see here on the right is the Intrepid Potash Mine Processing Facility. For some reason, and I have no idea why, I did not get any photo or video of it with my drone. But here's a photo that I found from lookphotos.com. As the drive continued on, I became more anxious as to what else the scenic road might have in store for me. In the few short moments that I did get some signal on my phone and from the looks of Google Maps, the road appeared to climb up into the canyon, but unfortunately, I could not. I haven't been this bummed out since Gwen died in The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Stay with me, stay with me. You stay with me.
Okay, actually, you know what? It could be worse. Even though this put a major damper on my plans, the show wasn't over. I got another surprise for you guys. The next attraction that we're currently on our way to was the highlight of my journey through Potash Road. Don't get me wrong, it's been quite the enthralling experience, but some things tend to stick out a little more than others. But on the way there, I wanted to share a little something with you guys, because I get questions about this in most of my videos when my drone is following behind me in my car, and usually the question is, how are you able to get your drone to follow behind you while you're driving? Truth be told, the drone is doing most of the work. I have the DJI Mini 4 Pro, and it comes equipped with a feature called Active Track, or more popularly known as Follow Me Mode. And what you didn't see in the beginning was me getting my drone up in the air and positioning it behind my car. At that point, I highlighted a little square around my car, letting my drone know what to focus on, and it will stay locked onto that subject while it moves until I instruct otherwise. It also has 360-degree obstacle avoidance, which helps prevent the drone from coming into contact with any trees, posts, or signs, but it's not perfect, so you always have to remain cautious. And even though it may look like I'm cruising at a pretty good speed here, I'm only going about 20 miles per hour, and I'll link that drone along with all the other gear that I use to make my videos down in the description. Ladies and gentlemen, the arch you see here is called Corona Arch. It's one of several thousands of arches around Moab, Utah. And in fact, Arches National Park, which isn't too far away, has the densest concentration of natural stone arches in the world. I was tempted to fly closer and get more shots, but I wanted to respect people's experience. I was able to make it out there the very next day and hike to it, and here's some photos that I took along the way. The reason I didn't shoot any video is because it was scheduled to downpour that day, and I didn't want to put my camera and gimbal at risk of being damaged. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as I got to the trailhead, it started to sprinkle. I kicked things into a higher gear and trekked to the arch as quick as I could. It is an easy hike, but there are a few areas that you want to be cautious around as you're hiking up the rocks. About a half hour later, I did make it to the arch and got the money shot that I was looking for. As amazing of an experience as it was to see something that Mother Nature has created over millions of years, it's also very bittersweet. This arch, along with the thousands of other arches in the surrounding area, are made up of Entrada sandstone, which can easily be eroded. Not to say that these arches are going to crumble today, tomorrow, next year, or even 10 years from now, but they are fragile, and as time goes on, day by day, month by month, and year by year, they are slowly eroding, and eventually there will come a time when tourists will say, "I'm so glad I got to see it before it collapsed." And as Vision from the Avengers said, "A thing isn't beautiful because it lasts."
But a thing isn't beautiful because it lasts.
Thank you all for tuning into this week's video, but hey, if you're not ready for the fun to end just yet, consider watching another video by clicking the one in the upper left-hand corner.